I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So today, well, okay, not really today. I recently have realized that between the three factions that I control and my girlfriend's army and the Castellan that I have borrowed from Bleak, I can have a battle of 5 armies. So I'm going to use my entire table. My entire table. I use my convergence of Dominion as a teleport system when I use it in defense games. Um, so for this game, at the beginning of a Necron turn, on a 3-up, a convergence will spit something out, and then another dice roll will tell me what battlefield role it comes from. However, if a non-Necron troop choice is within 2 inches of one of these teleport convergence things, then they don't spit anything out. They're considered to be deactivated. So in order for the Necrons to use them, they'll have to clear off any troops that are near these. So the end of the game will occur, I guess, when there's only one army left, either because the Necrons have wiped the board or somebody has gotten troop choices and turned off all the teleporters. So yeah, I'm thinking this will be a big long game, and I hope you all enjoy it. So we're gonna look at the armies, and then we're gonna do deployments and start the craziness. So let's take a look at the armies that are going to be participating in today's experience. So first we have this Drukhari force, led by a succubus. She will have 10 Codalite warriors, 10 witches, 5 incubi that will be riding around in this venom, a Talos, 3 reavers, and 2 squads of 5 scourges. The scourges will be in the deep strike teleportarium thing. Drukhari only has 2 troop choices this time, so while they can't turn off all of the Necron teleporters themselves, they can certainly assist someone else in doing so. So, Drukhari. Yeah, we have this pretty decent Ork Wa kind of dealio, led by a War Boss in Mega Armor. There's also a Beast Boss hanging out. They have 10 Beast Boys, 10 Commandos, and then 2 squads of 10 boys. They also have a Death Killer Wartrike, 3 Death Captives, a Death Dread with 2 Scorches and 2 Dread Claws, and a Ork Mech gun with a Bubble Chucker. The Orks have 3 troops, so they can theoretically turn off the Necron teleporters by themselves, but they could assist somebody if they wanted to. For the Chaos troops, yeah, we got all this craziness, led by a Chaos Lord. He has a Master of Executions and a Sorcerer to back him up. So they also have a 10-man squad of Space Marines with a Heavy Bolter and an autocannon riding in this Rhino. 2 Greater Possessed, 2 7-man squads of Space Marines, one with a plasma gun and the other with a flamer. We have a Chaos Knight Desecrator with my Proxy Wolfsmith, that's just going to follow him around and just heal him as necessary. We have 5 Warp Talons, 5 Scarab Occult Terminators, and 2 Obliterators. And this whole line of guys here on the left is all going to be in the teleport deep strike area kind of thing. Chaos Space Marines also have 3 troops, so they can turn off the teleporters also by themselves if need be. So, and then just for one little, I don't know, like a linchpin kind of loop in the works kind of dealio, we have this Knight Castellan. by himself. So he's more for, I don't know, shooting up other people or maybe putting the hurt on some Necrons before everybody else jumps in. But he doesn't have any troops with him, so he can't turn anything off. All he can do is shoot the crap out of stuff. So each one of these armies will be on one of these corners, with the Necron contingent thing in the middle there. So yeah, it should be a good, fun, happy game. Okay, so the Castellan won the roll off, so he gets to start on this corner over here. By his little London. Chaos won the next part. So we got one squad of 7. The Flamer up here on top. The other squad of 7 back here. Clapping around. Also with the Chaos Lord, the Sorcerer, the Master of Executions, both great possessed. Chaos Knight, the 10-man squad with the autocannon and heavy bolter, and the Rhino, and then the 2 Obliterators, 5 Warp Talons, and the Scare the Cult Terminator squad are all in the Teleportarium doing their Teleportarium waiting things. The Drukhari ended up in this corner with the Reavers out front here. Cowlight Warriors kind of there. Venom with the Incubi side behind it. Talos behind that. Succubine Witches on top with the 2 units of Scourges kind of waiting in their little Teleportarium thing. As for the Orks, the Commandos jumped over here in this little sneaky deployment thing that they do. And then they have this corner, so 2 group of 10 boys up on the front here then. Beast Boss and 10 Beast Boys right there with the Mech gun. And then the Death Dread, War Boss, and War Trike all hanging out here on the bottom. And the Necrons will be coming out of these convergence of dominions right here. So we'll start with, movement. So the Castellan gets to go first. So the Castellan just moved forward his full movement, which wasn't very far. Not really in range of anything to shoot at per se. Could shoot at the Orks, but they haven't really done anything to him yet, so there's no need for that. So we'll end his turn and go on to Chaos's turn. So pretty much everybody on the Chaos side advanced, except for the Chaos Knight. All of these guys made it down onto the ground here. This guy is starting to work his way towards where the Orks are. Everyone else is trying to get to the convergences in the center of the table. Really the Knight's the only one that has a shot, but he can really only shoot the other Knight. Well, maybe the Drukhari, but like the Orks, they haven't done anything to make him angry, so yeah, that'll make it the Drukhari turn for movement. So, like everybody else, everybody on the Drukhari side has advanced forward as far as they could. For the Reavers, that's really far. The Venom made it pretty far. The Succubi and the Cowlight Warriors have come off the top, have come off the hill. The Witches have come down to this level, and the Talos has gone up. The Scourges have opted not to come in this round, and there's really nobody to attack without reason yet. So we'll go over to the Orc turn for movement. Okay, so like everybody else, all of the Orcs advanced forward as far as they could, with the exception of the Mech gun that did not move at all. The boys came down off the hill onto here. The Beast Boss and Snagger boys have just moved further along the hill. These boys got off the hill And all of these guys just advanced forward as far as they could. The Deathcopters have chosen not to come in this turn, and the Mech gun took shots at the Night Castellan, but failed to hit anything. So that makes it the Necron turn. So 2 Doomsday Arcs. Pop into being out of a convergence of the main. So yeah, they're not going to move. That'll take us to Necron shooting. There is stuff within range, like the whole bloody table. So we'll deal with Necron shooting. So yep. So this Doomsday Arc used its flare arrays to destroy 2 of the Reavers. It shot its main Doomsday gun at the Talos, but missed. And then the Far Doomsday Arc shot at the Castellan, and it managed to save with its ion shields. So not a terrible thing. So that's the end of round 1. So now we start round 2. So I pre-rolled the first 5 rounds, assuming that everyone actually lives the first 5 rounds. So 3 arcs out of round 2, and it's the Necron's turn. So first I'm going to roll for the convergence to see if anything actually comes in. Then I'll put in whatever comes in, and then we'll do stuff from there. So at the start of the Necron turn, 2 of the convergences activate and spit things out. So the one closest over here spits out a Locust Heavy Destroyer with an Enmitic Exterminator. And the one up top spit out a Locust Heavy Destroyer with a Gauze Destructor. The one on the far side did not do anything at all. Normally something would move now, but the Doomsday Arcs never move. And the Heavy Destroyers just made it in, so they don't get to move. So no Catan on the field, so Necron shooting. So this Doomsday Arc, along with this Destroyer, I managed to kill off the Reaver. And the Locust Heavy Destroyer killed off the Talos. And the Far Doomsday Arc over here did a little bit of damage to the Night Castellan. No charges for these guys, so that'll take us to Chaos movement. So once again, pretty much everything advanced. The Knight did not advance, it just kind of moved his pretty hefty 12 inches. Rana came around here, looking at these commandos. The bulk of the Space Marines just moved a little bit further down. HQ's just moved up a little bit. This Greater Possessed is kind of trying to sneak around the back here. I guess a drop on this guy. There's really no room right now to drop anybody in a teleport area into this. There's just too much stuff spread out, so no need. Also, there's nobody close enough for any real psychic things, so yeah, I'm going to Chaos Shooting. So for the Rhino, I managed to kill one of the commandos, which is Connie Bolton. And the Knight managed to do nothing at all. Super sad thing. Charges, yeah, nobody's close enough to charges. So I believe that'll take us on over to the Orc turn. The 8 Orcs. So we predict these guys getting some revenge for their dead comrades. So we'll do Orc movement. So these Orcs have opted to advance forward over towards the Drukhari. The Wartrike, Deathred, and Warboss are all heading over towards the Necrons for a good time. The Beast Boss and Beast Snagger boys are following on behind these guys, heading towards Drukhari. These boys, I guess, are going to try and take on the castle, and the Necron is just going to hang out. Still no weird boys, so we'll do some orc shooting. So the Warboss and the Mech gun has a double check out. Did a decent amount of damage to the Doomsday Arc. And that was, pretty much it. Charging, everybody pretty much advanced. And the Depth Strike does not want to charge. So, yeah, that'll make it the Drukhari turn. Movement for Drukhari. Alright, so the Venom moved forward. The Cobalites just kind of moved around the mausoleum. The Witches came down off the hill. The Succubus is going around the fence line there. And the Scourges have dropped in over here in this hill. 10 inches away from these guys. So, yeah, no psychics for the poor little Drukhari. They definitely have shooting, so we're gonna do some shooting. So these Cobalites pretty much mangled these boys over here, killing 2 of them, and then the Venom killed another 3. The Scourges over here killed 4 of these boys. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. Really too far away for any charges from the Drukhari side. So that makes it, I believe, the Castellan's turn. So the Castellan has just moved closer to pretty much bring the full brunt of his firepower to bear down this side here, looking mainly towards the Orks, but I'm sure the Scribbles will be included. It's not a side fighting, so yeah, we'll just get into the large amount of shooting that he can do. So the Night Castellan did a definite decent amount of damage here, so the Scourges were close enough for the Twin Meltagun, and it killed 3 of those. And then the Twin Siegebreaker Cannon and the Plasma Decimator, it put into the Deathred, doing a lot of damage to it. And then the Volcano Lance, well, it flat out just killed the Mech gun. So Castellan did a whole bunch of work. So, and with that puts us at the end of round 2. So the board is a whole lot different place than it was 2 rounds ago. Alright, well, I'm gonna look and see how we do at the start of round 3 here. So at the start of round 3, we have Chaos starting out, and then grouping this time. So movement it'll be for Chaos. So a whole lot of movement activity this turn. The Chaos Knight has moved further up the field. The Spirit of Possessed is following slowly behind him. The Rhino dropped out the squad of 10 that had been in there, and then motored on over this way. Greater Possessed is in a lot closer range over here. One of the Obliterators dropped down from the teleport thingy, just on the other side of these guys. And yeah, that's pretty much all the movement that happened. So pretty much not a need for Psychics yet this turn, so definitely going to do some shooting. So between the Rhino This squad of Space Marines and the Obliterator, they killed everybody but the Knob of the Commando squad. Other than that, the Chaos Knight used his laser destructor to do a couple points of damage to the Knight Castellan, and other than that, nobody else really did anything worthwhile. Charging phase, yeah, you know what? These Space Marines are going to charge into this Knob. I'm sure that if the Knob had lived past that initial thingy, he would have definitely killed at least one of these guys, but as it was, they definitely mobbed him and killed him. Okay. That's the end of the Chaos turn, so I believe that takes us to Drukhari, so start Eldar movement. So the Witchers have decided to go around the mausoleum on this side, and the Succubus has come back over to join them. The Toddlers are just going to hang on here. The Incubi hopped out of the Venom, and then the Venom just hauled forward over here, deep inside the Ork line. These two remaining Scourges are just going to hang out here on this hilltop. And the other Scourges have dropped in on their teleportarium thing on top of this. I guess not on top of, but on this little second tier part of the hill. So that'll take us into Drukhari shooting. So that was a super good round for Drukhari shooting. The Coblet Warriors killed off the rest of the boys that were over here. The Venom dumped everything it had into the Beast Snagapores and killed 3 of them. These Scourges weren't able to kill any of these guys. These Scourges killed 3 of these Space Marines. And now that I look around, I think that might have actually been it. Charge-wise, these Incubi are going to charge into that Locust Heavy Destroyer for sure. And the Warboss and the Death Dread are going to charge into the Venom. So the Incubi successfully made it in and did not kill the Destroyer, but they definitely tried really hard. He did not do anything in return to them. The Warboss and the Death Dread definitely made it in. The Warboss mostly screwed it up, and then the Death Dread finished the job. So, yeah. Yeah. So that'll take us to the Necrons. So, Necron movement. So all of the damaged Necrons regain a point of health, and the only thing that pumped anything out was this convergence teleported in an Annihilation Barge that has a Gauss cannon. So movement wise, yeah, the only thing that's moving is the Destroyer here is going to fall back. So he just falls back up to the second tier up here. Yeah, that takes us to Necron shooting. So it's Doomsday Arc. Used its Godslayer arrays to wipe out the Incubi, and its Doomsday Cannon to destroy the Rhino. And this Doomsday Arc used its Godslayer array to destroy the Greater Possessed, and its Doomsday Cannon to destroy the Obliterator that was right over here. The Heavy Destroyer and the Annihilation Barge did not manage to ruin anything that they shot out. The Necrons choose not to charge anything, so that will be the end of their turn. So here we are with the Castellan's turn, so movement. So the castle is just moving closer to the Orks, I guess. And while he did lay desolate waste to this side of the table the last turn or two, he's definitely concentrating everything that he has into the Necrons this turn. So shooting phase. Well, that was super crazy. So it definitely unloaded everything it had into the Necrons. It destroyed this Doomsday Arc. It did a lot of damage to this Doomsday Arc. Kind of as an afterthought, it used its twin meltagons to destroy these scourges that were over here. So they don't exist anymore either. Yeah, there's nothing really close enough for him to charge, so that puts it up to the Orc turn. So the remaining Orcs, minus the Death Goblins, which will probably come in this turn. So, Orc movement. So the Death Goblins did indeed drop in over here next to this hill. The Beast Boss and Beast Boys have moved off the hill. The Warboss and Death Dread kind of look like they're about to line up for the Castellan. The remaining boys are headed towards the teleporter over here so they can put a stop to it. And the Wartrike is just kind of trying to block the Drukhari from coming any closer. No psychics, so Orc shooting. That was an eventful shooting round for Drukhari. The Death Goddess killed 6 of the witches. The Death Killer Wartrike destroyed the Locust Heavy Destroyer. And the Warboss put some shots into the Night Castellan, but didn't actually do any damage to it. Nobody's in range for any charging, so that takes us to round 4. And I do believe it'll be the Castellan's turn to go first for this round, so we'll do the Castellan movement. So the Castellan has just kind of moved over to the far side of the hill there. Mostly to get a better shot onto the Doomsday Arc and Annihilation Bars that are hanging out there. So we'll do Castellan shooting now. So this Night Castellan is definitely having the best game of his life because he just destroyed the other Doomsday Arc and put one hell of a dent into the Annihilation Bars itself. So yeah, he's definitely having a good day. He's also not going to charge anybody, so that'll put it up to Drukhari and Drukhari movement. So the witches have decided to advance forward, trying for the objective. The succubus just moved forward to keep up with them. The Kabbalites have decided to stay there and just kind of try and provide fire support against this Orc horde. And these Scourges are just going to stay here and start taking on the Chaos forces over there. To my never-ending, I don't know, misunderstanding perhaps. Drukhari still don't have Segers, so yep, Drukhari shooting phase. So the Scourges over here managed to kill off three of these Space Marines over here. And the Kabbalite Warriors put some shots into the Death Goblins, doing 20 damage. The Witches advance so they can't charge. Yeah. Orc movement. So the Death Goblins and the Wartrike have all converged upon the Drukhari here. The boys making their way over to the convergence to try and stop the thing. The Beast Boss and the Beast Boys also trying to make their way over to do the same thing. The Warboss and the Death Dread are making their way towards the Castellan, trying to get some revenge out of that. Still no weird boy, so Ork shooting. So the Warstrike used its kata thingy beam of its engine thing to kill off the witches. And then the Death Katas did a little bit of damage to the succubus. And everybody else advanced and can't shoot. Also, as such, everyone else advanced and isn't going to charge, and none of these guys are going to charge. So, yeah. So, no charging. That'll put it on over to the Night Lord's turn. So we'll do Chaos movement. So over here in the far forgotten corner of the Chaos side, these mostly unmolested squads, the 2 7-man squads, have decided to finally move out and get out to where they need to be. The Chaos Lord and Sorcerer are up on the Mausoleum Hill here thing. The Master of Executions is going off towards, I assume, that Heavy Destroyer. The remaining 3 guys out of the 10-man squad are just going to hang tight here. Greater Possessed has advanced forward. The other Obliterator has dropped down out of its teleportarium thing. The Scarabicol Terminators have also dropped down out of their teleport thing. And way over here, the Warp Talons have also dropped down. So everybody has units on the field, and Chaos has kind of pulled some sort of weird encircling move. The Chaos Knight over there, I forgot to mention him. He has decided to start moving towards the Castellan to take him on again. There's nobody really in range of psychics. We are going to try and do some psychics though. Sorcerer is going to try and cast something. No, wait, he's not right for that, never mind. Yeah, we'll just go into Chaos shooting. There'll be a lot of shooting here, so yay! So between them, the Obliterators and the Auto Cannon and the Heavy Bolter out of the remaining Space Marine squad killed off these Scourges, the Soul Reaper Cannon, and the Terminator squad killed off 4 of the Cobblers, and the Night Desecrator did a couple points of damage to the Night Castellan. The Warp Talons don't really want to charge yet. So I believe it is the Necrons' turn. So for the Necrons, Annihilation Barge gained a health back. The Convergence of Dominion must be defunctioning or malfunctioning, however you want to call it, because it's the only one that worked. There's this one over here, and all it did was spit out some Scorpic Destroyers, so while it's not a win, I guess it's not a major loss either. So yeah, they're not going to move, so we'll go into Necron shooting. So the Heavy Destroyer here sniped out and killed the Master of Executions, and the Annihilation Barge did 9 damage to this Night Castellan. No Necron charges, so I believe that's the end of the round. It is. So here we are at the top of round 5. The armies have been pretty desolated. Drukhari is just down to a couple, I don't know, 8, 9 models there total. The Orks are kind of dilapidated as well. Chaos is kind of spread all over the place. The Castellan has done a whole lot of damage, but is also about to die. So, top of round 5, it's the Necron's turn, so we'll start with them. So, the Annihilation Barge gained a point of health back. The Convergence of Dominion kind of worked a little bit better this time. It popped out an annihilation barge, another one with a Tesla cannon on the top tier here, and a Hexmark destroyer popped out of his one here. So the Locust Heavy Destroyer decided to hop down off the top of the mountain to the ground level here to start working on these Chaos troops. And the Scorpion Destroyer has moved up to challenge this Chaos Knight. No Catan, so that'll take us to my favorite phase, Necron shooting. So the Hexmark Destroyer killed off all the boys that were right here. The Locust Heavy Destroyer killed off the Obliterator that was over there. Both of these annihilation barges working together destroyed the Castellar. That was crazy. Charge phase, so the Scorpex over there on the far side are definitely going to charge into the Night Desecrator. So the Scorpex Destroyers survived the Overwatch experience and made it in, and did a whole hell of a lot of damage to the Knight. It did 11 points of damage. It turned around and used its Titanic feet and stomped the crap out of one of them. Killed one. So yeah, that was super awesome. So that'll take us on over to the Ork turn. So, Ork movement. What few of them are left over there and outside. So the Death Dread and Warboss have decided to change tack and started heading up towards the Annihilation barges. The Beast Boss and the Beast Boys are heading over towards the Convergence with the Hexmark. And the Death Killer and Death Coppers are all just holding their ground pretty much to just probably wipe out Drukhari and maybe kill the Hexmark. No psychics, so we'll do Orc shooting. So between the Death Killer Wartrite, the Beast Boss, and all of the Beast Snagger boys, they managed to kill off the Hexmark. And the Warcopters killed off 3 of the Cobbler Warriors. Charges. Yeah, I think that the Death Copters are definitely going to charge the Succubus and the Cobbler Warriors. The Death Copters successfully multi-charged the Succubus and the Cobbler Warriors, and used their spinning rotors to completely chop them all into little bitty, unfindable Drukhari bits. And with that, the Drukhari forces also wiped off the board. Yeah. So that'll put it up to Chaos. Movement. They're scattered all over the board too, so this will be a good time. So the Warp Talons have moved off the hill and are coming up behind the Beast Boys. Over here, the Terminators have just moved closer to the edge to get better shots on these guys. Coming around to this side, the remaining 3 guys in this squad have just reoriented to better face the Heavy Destroyer. The Greater Possessed has just advanced way forward to get closer to him. The Lord and Sorcerer hop down to do something. These Space Marines just kind of moved forward to get a better height advantage. The other unmolested group of Space Marines is trying to get over here to the unoccupied Convergence currently. And the Night Desecrator just fell back. So for Psychic, the Sorcerer is probably just going to smite the Heavy Destroyer. So the Sorcerer was successful in casting Smite on the Heavy Destroyer, doing 3 damage to it, almost killing it, so that's a good thing. So Chaos shooting. So the the Night Desecrator managed to kill one of these Scorpic Destroyers with its Wizard special. It took all three of those Space Marines, the two heavy weapons and the Sergeant, to kill off the heavy destroyer that was there, but they managed to. Over here on the Terminator side, they managed to kill off one of the Death Copters. So then we'll go into Chaos Charging. These Warp Talons into the Beast Boys. And that Knight is going to charge that Scorpic Destroyer. So the Warp Talons only lost one Warp Talon to the, what do you call that? Overshot, Overfire. I don't know why I can't think of it immediately. Overwatch. The last one got Overwatch and killed 3 of the Beast Boys and then lost 2 of their own to the return fight. The Night Desecrator stomped his Necron dude to death. So, yeah, there's gonna be none of that. So, yeah, looks like that'll be the end of round 5. We'll go into round 6 with the Necrons. So, any wounded Necron units regain a point of health. This convergence popped out a Locust Heavy Destroyer. And this one popped out an Overlord. This one didn't want to work. Neither of the Annihilation Barges are going to move, so that'll take us to the Necron shooting phase. So the Heavy Destroyer killed off a Death Copter. This Annihilation Barge killed off another Death Copter. And then this Annihilation Barge killed off the War Boss and the Death Dread. So yeah, that was kind of super crazy. No charging for the Necrons, so that'll put us over to the Ork turn. So Ork movement. So the Beast Boys are just going to stay in combat with the Warp Talons. The Beast Boss has hopped up on here onto the 2nd level, as has the Death Killer Warstrike. And then the Death Copter is just going over here after these Terminators. So we'll do some Ork shooting. So Orks are notoriously bad at shooting. All of these guys shot. None of these guys even hit. So combat, going to be the Beast Boss and the Warstrike charging into the Heavy Destroyer. The Death Copter charging into the Terminators. These guys are already in combat. So the Beast Boss and the Warstrike both made it in, and they managed to kill the Heavy Destroyer. Unfortunately for the Death Copter, the Commie Bolters actually hit in Overwatch and managed to kill it, so yeah, oh well. So yeah, that'll make it Chaos's turn. So Chaos movement. So the Scarab Occult Terminators have moved down off of this hill and heading towards the center area. The Integrator Possessed has just moved forward. This squad of Space Marines and the Chaos Lord and Chaos Sorcerer all advanced over to this area, heading towards this conversion. The other unmolested squad of Space Marines is heading up towards this conversion. This squad of Space Marines already made it to that convergence, so as long as they're standing there, it can't teleport anything in, so all they gotta do is kill that Overlord. And then the Chaos Knight just kind of moved a little bit further around the front there. Psychic phase. Huh. Pretty sure that Orks might actually be closer. So the sorcerer there on the left successfully smoked the Death Killer Wartrike. It is the closest enemy unit. Did 3 points of damage to it. So that'll take us to Chaos Shooting. This will be a good phase. I don't know how much longer the Orks will be here, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So I forgot that pretty much everything advanced except for the Chaos Knight. So he did a decent amount of damage to the Overlord over here. But that's really all he could do. And since pretty much everyone advanced, nobody could charge, so that'll take us up to round 8. Necron turns. So the wounded Necron stuff that has living metal gained the wound back. The far convergence of Dominion is closed at the moment. The middle one didn't spit anything out, and this one let a Royal Warden come out. The Overlord on the far side over here is the only Necron that moved. He just got a lot closer to the squad of Space Marines. No Catan, so Necron shooting phase. So the Royal Warden killed off the rest of the Beast Boys. The Annihilation Barge on the left did a little bit of damage to the Wartrike. The Annihilation Barge on the right killed off the Beast Boss. So charges. Charges are definitely going to be this Overlord into the squad of Space Marines. So he definitely made his charge distance. They managed to not hit him at all on Overlord. Well, the Flamer hit him twice, but didn't wound him at all. And so during the fight part, he killed 2 of them, and they did nothing at all to him. So yep, that'll take us over to the Ork turn. Right now, the Orks solely consist of this Death Killer Wartrike. So it's not going to move. It's going to shoot at the Annihilation Barge in front of it. It's been shooting at it. So this guy failed to wound anybody, and he has kind of a crap charge. So yeah, that's the end of the Ork turn. So that'll get a Chaos then. Chaos movement. So once again, pretty much everybody except for the Chaos Knight advanced. The Greater Possessed did not advance, but yeah, everything else did. So the group of 3 there, the Chaos Lord, the Sorcerer, the Terminators are slowly making their way around to the Royal Warden over there. These guys are slowly making their way up so they can make their ascent up to that thing. So these guys didn't advance, I guess. They felt like just enough to be out of combat with the Overlord, but still within an inch of the convergence thing. And then the Knight just moved 8 inches forward, keeping the Overlord still in sight so we can shoot at him and still shoot at the Annihilation Barges. Okay, so yeah, we'll do Chaos Shooting, which will be the Knight, and then Chaos Charging. But yeah, Chaos Shooting first. So okay, so the Chaos Knight shot its heavy stubber at the Overlord and missed with everything, and then shot its laser destructor at this Annihilation Barge on the right, and missed with all of that also. This Greater Possessed was going to charge the Death Trike, but Death Killer Wartrike, but it's dead. So I guess instead it's going to charge the Annihilation Barge. So we're going to do Overwatch and deal with that. So the Greater Possessed did successfully charge into the Annihilation Barge. Did take a point of damage in Overwatch. Um, did a little bit of damage to the barge and then took no damage in return. So yeah, it was weird. Yeah. So that'll take us to the next round then, since the Orks are dead. Yeah. Round 9 Necron. So all of the living metal guys regain the health. The star convergence teleport thing is broken at the moment. The middle one didn't do anything. And this close one spat out a new Necron Overlord. Yeah. Movement. Nobody's gonna move. They are all pretty comfortable where they're at. So Necron shooting. So the Annihilation Barge here on the right did a decent amount of damage to the Knight Desecrator, putting him down into the second bracket. So charges the Overlord into the Space Marines here. So the Overlord most definitely made it in, didn't take any damage from Overwatch. Killed 4 of the Space Marines. The champion did 1 point of damage back to him. Over here, the Greater Possessed did more damage to the Annihilation Barge, and it did a point of damage in return. So, not terrible, not great. That puts it up to Chaos this time. Chaos movement. So the Terminators advanced and finally made it around the corner. The surviving 3 guys from the original 10-man squad advanced up onto the edge here, as did the Sorcerer, the Chaos Lord. The Greater Possessed has fallen back and down onto this one, out of combat with that. The back squad of Space Marines made a huge advance roll and made it from the ground to the top here. The Chaos Knight is just going to hang out where it is. And the final Space Marine over here fell back an inch away from the Overlord, but still within an inch of the convergence. So, second phase, there'll be this Sorcerer into this Annihilation Barge. So the Sorcerer got a really good roll and got the D6 damage roll and blew up the Annihilation Barge. So yeah, shooting phase. So the Chaos Knight dumped everything it had, Heavy Stubber and Laser Destructor into the Overlord, and finally managed to kill him off. Since everyone else pretty much advanced, nobody else can really shoot. Nobody can really charge, so that makes it the Necron turn. Anybody that has taken damage, there's nobody. So because of the proximity rule thing that I said earlier, none of these teleport devices can actually operate right now. So the only thing that can happen is the 3 units of Necrons that are out can shoot and go about their daily lives, but they ain't getting no reinforcements unless they can kill off these Space Marines. So yeah, Necron shooting it is. So the Royal Warden managed to do a point of damage to the Terminator, and the Annihilation Barge killed off 5 of the Space Marines back here. So charge phase will be this Overlord charging into the Terminator. So the Overlord successfully charges in, took a point of damage in Overwatch. He killed 2 of the Terminators and took a point of damage. So not terrible, not great, but he's still alive. So that makes it Chaos's turn. So movement. So the original squad of 10, now reduced to 3, has moved down here to take control of this convergence formally. Terminators are just going to stay in combat. The Grave Possessed just moved closer to the Royal Wooden. The Chaos Lord and Sorcerer just kind of got closer on the hill thing. And then the Chaos Knight just got a lot closer to the Annihilation Mark. So second phase will be the Sorcerer into the Annihilation Mark. The Sorcerer successfully smoked. I like saying smoked. Successfully smoked the Annihilation Guard for a couple points of damage. So Chaos shooting. This would be a good time actually. So this squad did a couple points of damage to the Royal Warden. The Chaos Lord tried to shoot at the Overlord with his plasma pistol and missed. And then the Chaos Knight did a couple points of damage to the Annihilation Guard. So charge-wise, the Greater Possessed and the Space Marines are going to charge into the Royal Warden. These guys are already in combat. Let's settle this real quick then. So nobody got... the Greater Possessed failed to get injured on Overwatch and made it in. Then the Space Marines made it in. And then the Greater Possessed just killed it. Dead. So these guys traded blows back and forth. The Overlord did a point of damage to the Terminators. The Terminators did a point of damage to the Overlord. No deaths. So yeah, that puts it over to the Necron turn. So the teleporters are still denied to them. So a couple of health gains, and yeah, we'll see how it goes here. So Necron movement. So neither one of these guys is going to move. They're just going to take their chances and see what happens. So shooting phase. So the Annihilation Guard dumped everything it had into the Chaos Knight and did a decent amount of damage to it. So fight phase. It'll be the Overlord and these Terminators. So this Overlord is definitely fighting on trying not to die because he killed off 2 of the Terminators and took no wounds in return. So craziness. That makes it the Chaos turn. So the Terminator just fell back away from the Overlord, and everybody around it just got a lot closer. And the Sorcerer got closer to the Annihilation Barge, and that was about it. So second phase. I totally forgot that this guy, the Scarab Occult Terminator, is also a Psyker guy, so yeah. Oh well. I'm gonna go with this Sorcerer into the Annihilation Barge. Alright, so the Scarab Occult Terminator Sorcerer guy cast as Nisha's Firestorm. He parried on it, but it still went off, so it put the Overlord down to 1. And his smite did 3 points of damage to the Annihilation Barge. So this will probably be the last shooting phase of the game. Well, in a not, it was an unexpected victory, but considering the last 2 units that were left, I'm not that surprised. The heavy bolter Space Marine killed off the Necron Overlord, and the Knight Desecrator used his laser destructor to kill off the Annihilation Barge. So with all other factions destroyed and the Convergence of Dominion teleporters shut down, that makes the Chaos Forces the winner. So yeah, biggest game I've ever done. 5 armies? What was I thinking? 36 square feet of space? I must be dumb. Probably won't be doing this kind of game again for a little while. I'm gonna go back to just one-on-one and maybe maybe one-on-one-on-one. Maybe 2-on-1, but probably not 4-on-1. This was ridiculous. If you made it to the end of the video, I super appreciate it because this is probably going to be one hell of a long video. So thanks. I do greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Have a good morning.